Hi, I'm Fran with Stampendous, and I want to show you how to use our pop-up stages die set. And once you watch this video, you will get the hang of it, and you will be your own paper engineer, making your own beautiful pop-up cards of all different kinds. So as you can see here, the front of the package looks like this with all of these pop-up die pieces. And then on the back of the package, we try to give you some information, but watching this video will really help you walk it through. And as you can see with a couple of the samples here, seeing it from the top down, you're seeing all the little houses. You can see some of the structure of it by looking at it that way. And the same with this one, uses, see how, yeah. Make sure you can see there. This one used the platforms. So let me walk you through a couple of tips to get you started. So of the different pieces here, 5 of them here at the top we're calling columns, and then 2 of them give you these platforms, and 1 is a tab. So the next thing that I think is very helpful in understanding these pieces is that you sort of do a test run. And I'm going to show you here what I've done. I took a long piece of paper, and I'm going to flatten it for the moment just to show you. And I drew a pencil line in the middle just to line things up. And then to create this test panel, I simply positioned each of these dies in the order that they have a number on them. This number system helps us identify and give you a recipe to say use this one with that one or whatever. And each of them have the cut lines and other areas that are simply going to score the paper. The little tabs here on the side will give you an easy place to line it up. And so you can see here that I'm using that pencil line just to understand how these have been positioned on the paper. So I just took each and every one of them. I turned them the direction where I could read the little numbers. And that's all a part of getting your orientation here for how they're going to work. So here are that whole group that you can use as columns. And over here, this one we call the platform, that is number 7. And this little one could be 6 or 9. And we numbered it going this way, because I'll show you how that works in a minute. And then this little one gives you a tab. And you can turn it this way and have something positioned on this edge, or you can turn it around and use it this way. So I took my Sharpie pen and marked all of them exactly how I had put them on this sheet. And this now helps me understand how they work together. And I'll actually show you later, but this little number 6 that was turned around this way, I can run it through once and run it through a second time to create the 3rd tier of these little platforms. You may want to position all of your little die pieces on a magnetic panel so that you don't lose any of them. And again, those numbers are going to help you find what you're looking for. So let me show you some tips on using the platform and going from a 2 to even a 3-layer stage. So I've got some paper and I've cut it 5.5. That's the width that I can run through my Sizzix easily. And I've made it 11. And so at 5.5, I am going to score out on the outer edges. This is just going to help me find my way here. And then I'm going to since that's scored right down the middle, I'm going to shift it just a little bit, and I'm going to do a pencil line in between. So now I have my magnetic platform, a cutting plate, and I'm going to position my green card here. So with the number 7 platform, those lines are helping me find the middle, and I'm going right to the middle where I know that little score line is on those tabs, okay? And now I'm going to put my no cut plate on top and run it through. Okay, that has both done scoring and cutting for me. So this is going to give me the 2-layer platform like you see here. But now if I want to do that 3rd layer, I've got this little one that's number 6 or 7, and you could turn it either way because it's going to do the same, it's symmetrical. And now I can see the little score line, and I'm lining that up to the middle. Cover it, and we'll run this one through. So now let's talk about training the folds. And on my test panel over here, I found that the single column ones are quite easy to begin training the folds. And usually I can find it easiest from the back and begin to pinch the little outer edges, and then I can find the middle score as well. On the platform, this one is the most complex, so training the folds is a little bit trickier. And I'm going to, again, start with my narrowest spot here. Let's see, whichever way is easiest to hang on to. Okay, so as soon as I start pushing on these edges, then I can more easily find the next one. And sometimes getting your fingers in between helps. So here I'm at the middle, and since I scored that ahead, that helps me find those folds. And then I'm going to turn it and even get my fingers in between here. So once I get that line scored, I can push it and find the next one and the next one going up. So as I press it all the way flat, I'm seeing that pattern on that side, and I'm seeing more of the structure from this side. And who knows, there may be cases where you use it this way. It almost looks like little stacking tables this direction. And if I turn it this way, I have a little pyramid. So that's how you work with the platforms, and shows you how to add, have the 2-tier or create a 3-tier with pieces 7 and 6. In the same way that we took the platform and we played with it, looking at it from this side or from this side, you also could work with it on a left to right basis. So there's any number of ways to use these pop-up stages. And I think you just need to play with them a little bit in order to get the feel of it. And by having a little test panel one like this, it really helps you as you're doing your planning to kind of determine which ones you need and for what purpose. This little tab this way would allow you to make the little packages stand up in the foreground of a card. And if you use the tab turned around the other way, then you kind of have a hanging tab, and you could attach something that would be flying along in the sky up here if you used it that way. So depending on what you wanted to create, you might study the stamps, and maybe you have designs that have dies and they're cut out, or maybe you're doing some hand cut pieces. But you can play around and decide how you might like to position things. And on this one, for example, a little tab in the front might give me a place to put the happy birthday message. Another tab over here would allow me to do some additional packages. And then, who knows, I might have another little message that I wanted to suspend up there at the top. And this is another tip I want to explain here. If you're positioning a large piece like this, you want to make sure that when it's folded, it doesn't extend past the top. And so with this one, or even with your test panel, actually let's put this on our test panel here. So with this tab, if I close this, I'm going to see how much it extends up over the top. Then measuring from the fold down here, which is the center, I can get a measurement that is going to be sure and be tall enough for those pieces to fit inside the fold of the card and not be peeking out above. There might be times where you do a card with a whole bunch of flowers and they're all just popping beyond the edges, and instead of worrying about an envelope size, just go with oversized envelopes and you'll be all set. So anyway, this just gives you the feel of how you can begin to figure out what you need for certain size stamps or pop-out pieces. Experimenting and playing with these will help you see the versatility of this Pop-Up Stages die set. Yeah. So here you can see a preview of a couple of different cards where I used 3 columns that you can see back there, and I used the little tab to create a little piece that can sit in the foreground. And this one I used the platform with all 3 of them, and you can see from the top, and here I'll turn it to the side so that you can see all of the decorative pieces then that can be positioned on all of the different tabs, or the stages, and then here was another little tab. And same with this one, with the Laurel Birch. This was the Indigo Cats, and it was very fun to create the columns that would fit the size of the cats.